Hi, welcome to Gail's Place. I'm your host, Lou Meyer. I'm fortunate today to be able to interview Mel HeBert, the author of Simple Obtainable Solutions. And this book is a constitutional plan to restore our freedoms. Mel, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thanks, Lou.
Appreciate you being here. So first off, since your book is about the 10th Amendment, I'd like to read the 10th Amendment so that people who are watching the show get an idea of what we're talking about. So to quote, the 10th Amendment, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So that's the 10th Amendment. Tell me how you got into writing this book and all of this stuff.
Well, basically, what everybody's going to say, well, he thinks he's Thomas Jefferson Jr. That doesn't really apply because he's a lot more brilliant than I am. The only thing I did was follow the 10th Amendment. But we have to all admit, with epidemic corruption in every facet, federal, state, and local government, Citizens Day wisely followed the 10th Amendment to the letter and chose to the people. Do we really trust government anymore?
Well, let's talk a little bit, since you bring that up to that. What is Citizens Day about?
Well, Citizens Day is basically about the 10th Amendment. It only gives the 10th Amendment a discernible name. So instead of me going to every citizen in the United States that wants to get involved and vote on this, say, hey, you ready for 10th Amendment Day? No, but we're ready for Citizens Day, which is all about the 10th Amendment. It's synonymous to the 10th Amendment.
So it allows people to have governmental influence, or do we make our own laws, or what do you do?
Well, basically, what part of the 10th Amendment is this, Lou? It's the right we have, our rights that we have. We can rescind a law as the people. The power of the people can rescind the law or force government to enforce a law, require them, enforce the law 100%, not just when it's convenient to them.
So we're talking about like silly laws, like re-wheeling your cart in the middle of the street and stuff like that.
Yeah, collecting rainwater is against the law. What, are you kidding me?
Hey, that's a real law. So didn't you tell me earlier that somebody actually got arrested for that?
Yeah, and in Oregon there was 3 arrests. People gathering rainwater. It rains in Oregon all the time.
Yeah.
So they need to feed, either water their cattle, water whatever they're doing, and they get arrested for it. That's insane.
Okay, so all right, now I get that. What about laws that they're not are there laws that are not being enforced and they just let them fly? Or?
Well, yeah, there's certain laws. Look at what they do on the criminality laws. They were previous administration was letting violent criminals out and saying they're misdemeanor acts. And they're not enforcing the law and keeping them behind there, but they take somebody that sold some marijuana and keep them in there for 8 years, and these violent felons are leaving. So that's incredible. That's stupid. It's just insane.
Well, also, don't they pardon each other? Some guy does some serious crime, and then the president goes, oh.
I think I'll pardon him.
Yeah.
And presidential pardons, I touched a little bit on the book. Presidential pardons are part of it, but they shouldn't be on January 19th, the last day of your administration, you pardon, 1,087 people. That's what happens all the time.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about what you have in the book. What's some of the content?
Okay, so what it is the government will circumvent anything so they do not tell you the truth. I think we can all agree on that. They just constantly don't tell you. If the truth is obvious, they skip it. And people just go, okay, next. So is it, really bureaucratic stimulus or just BS? The Americans have had it. They know it's BS. But the basic thing about the 10th Amendment and Citizens Day being synonymous, by repealing unconstitutional laws, we got a ton of them. By repealing them with our votes, we also reveal hidden payoffs behind those laws. What doesn't our government want us to do? Reveal the truth. They're all getting paid off on every law just about every law they enact. That's what's happening right now. Big time, big pharma, big business, comes in the lobbyists. All this is payoff, 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 payoff. we're going to unveil the hidden payoffs behind these laws.
They'll have a law that, is like 1,000 pages, and these guys get handed the law, 45 minutes before they have to vote on it. So you never know that they don't even know themselves what they're voting on. They're just basically doing it because they agreed to one of their friends, you vote for my law, I'll vote for your law, let's say.
Yeah, exactly right. So again, we get to the bureaucratic stimulus that they keep greasing each other with, and their wallets are pretty fat. So what Citizens Day does, following the 10th Amendment to the letter, is we have 40 proposals up to 4 times a year, and we all vote on these 40 proposals. My 2 are pretty simple. My two are very simple, okay? So what it is the government, doesn't matter Senate, doesn't matter, all of Congress, has to show us in writing where in the original U.S. Constitution that gives them the right to even propose that new law. That's my proposal. I have 2, and we need our viewers to send them in to me on my email, and we'll discuss that in a minute.
Okay.
Number 2 is one law stays, one law, one vote. No added pages like 1,087 pages of the Lou Meyer Airport that you want to get in with your buddy Mel.
Okay.
And nobody does this. So we just tell them it has to be one law, one subject only, no hidden clauses. And that's basically it. That's all they can do. So it's one law. Now, if they have to vote on 40 different initiatives in 1 year, 40 extras, it's only one law. Everybody can read 15, 18 pages in 20 minutes.
So this would, let me just add, so this would prevent, somebody introduces a law that is favorable to most people. And then at the last minute, somebody will, like the Senate, let's say, will vote and go, yeah, we'll go for it. The Congress will go, yeah, we'll vote on it too, but we want to add this little codicil or little thing to the end of it. And that turns out to be a law nobody wants. But if they want the law they're voting for, they have to eat this other law.
Correct. Like I said, by appealing unconstitutional laws, we also reveal the hidden payoffs in those laws. So all these added things they put on, believe me when I tell you, are hidden payoffs that we know nothing about.
It seems to me like a lot of times a special interest group or lobbyist or something will hand the laws written by them over to the senators or whatever, and they'll just parrot that as their law.
Yeah.
They'll just present that in.
You sure you didn't read my book yet?
No, I did. I read most.
Yeah. There you go. So and what I profess is nonviolence keeps us taking sides. That's what they do, and that's what they do best.
As long as we're at odds, we can't agree on stuff.
Correct, and we can never get together as a people to say, nope, we're sick of the bureaucratic stimulus BS. We're sick of it. We can never get together because government continues to divide us. That's exactly what they do.
So Citizens Day would kind of bring people together in a common sort of goal or whatever.
Yeah. And what I've said in the book and many of the posters that I have that I put out when I do speaking venues to different people is a goal without a plan is really only a wish. They don't want us to have a goal. But if we don't have a plan, and we don't, America, we'll never get to it. It's like a ship setting sail for a destination, but never logging into the ship log where they're going. Where does this ship end up? We're just floundering out there in the middle of the ocean. We need a goal, we need a plan, and I think Citizens Day and the 10th Amendment is the way to go.
Yeah, it sure seems like we're stonewalled by the way government works. It kind of keeps us out of the loop on it.
Oh, totally.
We're just the victims of whatever laws come. Somebody's rights are being restricted every time a new law comes into place. And all these people that are elected think it's their job to come up with a bunch of new laws. Otherwise, they're sitting there not doing anything.
Yeah. Now, if you realize this, when our government first was formed, they got summers off to take care of their crops, to do their farming, to do everything. Thomas Jefferson, everybody did it. Now, our government gets summers off to fly to destinations that lobbyists pay for. Nobody's farming anymore. It certainly isn't our politicians. So it was a part-time job at the beginning. They made it a full-time job that pays tremendous amount of money with the hidden laws and the hidden payoffs that are behind every law.
Man. Well,
Yeah.
it sure sounds like this is a good solution to some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's just discernible to again, repeating myself, to the 10th Amendment. All I did was give our 10th Amendment rights a discernible name. That's all that Citizens Day does.
Okay, so all right, how do we go about getting people to start doing this? Somebody's going to have to be a central point to make this happen.
Well, I told you, I think earlier, my email is going to blow up because I gave you my two proposals. Every American out there has at least two. One could be, we need voter ID. That is the most obvious out of all of them. Oh no, it's racist to be voter. No, it isn't. You got to show your ID at the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not racist. So what they do is they only have one mode of demean the person that's that's giving them a problem, cause them a problem, tell everybody that, nope, they're racist, they're this, they're this, they're this, when you're really not. They just want to prevent you from uniting in a united effort to move government down to where it should be. It's way out of proportion.
So I'm a little unclear on the voter issue, but what I understood was that a lot of people were being refused voting because they might vote against let's just say, the Republican, for a thing. So the Republicans somehow get these guys to ignore people of color. For example, or you've been on the voting rolls for 30 years and suddenly your name disappears, so no longer are you allowed to vote. You show up at the polls and they go, we don't have a record of you.
Yeah, or your uncle died and he voted 10 times. Either one. You know what I mean? So it's just it's kind of the bureaucratic stimulus I'm talking about. But we all know, we all know a lot of things. But America knows we've got to reintroduce common sense, morality, intelligence, instead of complete stupidity and the endless lies with glorified idiocy. Everybody's fed up. So when they send me things to, you send your two proposals to me, info@simpleobtainablesolutions.com. And we'll put them in an order. And the very first Citizens Day, we'll take 40 of these issues and we'll exercise our 10th Amendment right. And we'll vote on them as a people. Because like you read on the 10th Amendment, Lou, you said, are reserved to the states respectfully or to the people. With the corruption of all the states, the local government, who do we really trust? The people. That's all that this book does, is we trust the people. That's basically it. That's what this is about.
And so basically you're saying that anybody who is allowed to vote can submit their ideas,
Yep.
and everybody can vote on them.
We'll get it on the ballot. I'll also put it on the website, when the first one's going to be, and what 40 initiatives are we going to vote on.
I would consider one thing to be reestablishing. Well, I like your idea of voter ID for sure. But we should reestablish, once that's in place, and everybody I think it's everybody American over 18 is allowed to vote, right?
Yes, yep.
So everybody over 18 should be allowed to vote. There shouldn't be any nonsense about that at all.
Yeah.
And it seems like that does come from the top down.
Yeah. And again, what they do is they don't care what side you take, even if it's a small side. You're a Republican that's ticked off at somebody, you're a Democrat that's ticked off somebody. They keep that separation.
And everybody's got friends and everybody's got enemies. And if there's some way to bring people together and help them to agree and make a difference in our country, that's what I like. And that's certainly something that needs to happen. And as long as we're divisive or arguing among ourselves or labeling ourselves as this, that, or the other thing, as opposed to not just labels, but as opposed to somebody else, we're always going to be at loggerheads. So the best thing to me is, I like your ideas. You know, let's just come in here, let's all get together and clear some of this stuff up.
Yeah, like Winston Churchill said, if you're making enemies, you're doing your job. Well, you make the decision, people. Am I doing my job? Because I'm going to have a heck of a lot of enemies after the next interview.
It could be, but those enemies are, you know, it may be right to have them as enemies.
Oh,
You know,
they're
people
right to have them.
want the status quo to remain as it is.
The people I need on my side are Americans that want to change the direction this government is going. That's the people I want on my side.
Okay, so Mel's book, Simple Obtainable Solutions. It's a constitutional cure for some of the ills that we have in our country. You can reach him at info@simpleobtainablesolutions.com. And his book, Simple Obtainable Solutions, is available at Amazon in both print and digital form.
So I did my homework on one thing. If you do want to call me toll-free, I have a toll-free number. It's 888-USA-LOAD, L-O-A-D. Pretty easy to remember. You don't have to put it into your smartphone. It spells 888-USA, lies over, America decides.
Sounds good. So I'll be having some future interviews with Mel. We'll be doing a little bit more on Simple Obtainable Solutions. Also, Mel is a 52-year martial arts practitioner and is offering classes locally in women's self-defense, evenings and afternoons. And we'll be doing another interview on that and doing some demo so you can see what you might learn in that class. And thanks a lot for watching the show. Thanks for coming to Gail's Place, and we hope to see you again next time.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mel. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.